Hey, Will, gonna go over a few things, all concerning AdWords. That's pretty much gonna gobble up all the time for the video presentation for this week. So, let me just read this stuff verbatim, and then I'll go over this stuff and basically just talk to you about the stuff here at the bottom, where the summation is. So, AdWords goals: get over 15 conversions in a 30-day period, which we've done this. But with our business, we fluctuate a lot based on the seasons. And what we're going to try and do moving forward is generate more consistent results, which is going to be difficult for us. Basically, we have everything works out in our favor, just because the business model is great and because you guys have run it for 21 years and have run it well. So we've got margins that are over 50%. Most everything I've seen is over 60%, which is phenomenal for brick and mortar. And there are just a lot of different angles that I see like that. So we have a lot of things that work out well for us. For instance, just off the top of my head here, um, and I'll get into this a little bit more, we've got a 5.64% total conversion rate. That's well above average. That's about double. That's almost double average, and what we're going to try and do is boost all these numbers, but first we got to come back. We got to come back at our dynamic campaign and try and create some more consistent results. That way we can take more control. It's less of a bird's eye black and white type of thing, and it's more of an in-depth, details, technicolor kind of thing. For instance, we didn't have any of this data. We didn't have any of these numbers before May. So now we've got all of these numbers and we can go back in and kind of readjust things. So let me continue on so I'm not taking up too much time. We want to reach this at a more consistent level. So instead of having 9 conversions one month, and then 16 in another month, which might be difficult for us to do, we want to have upwards of 15, each month, or at least this month and the next month. Not that it's entirely necessary, it's just what's going to benefit us in the long run. Data is going to be more consistent. Okay, moving on. Remarketing campaigns are strategic. I'm just touching on the remarketing. Remarketing campaigns are strategic display campaigns that target previous visitors / customers. So this is something we'll come back at after the website is finished. Next point, overall total website conversion rate started about 1.2%. I mean, it was abysmal, is just the bottom line. June and July, after we've made some changes and kind of changed things around, turn off some campaigns that were just destroying us and other things like that, we got up to about 3%, which is about average. Across all types of businesses is about average with AdWords. Now we're getting upwards of 5%. And we kind of bounce around between 3 and 6%, which is phenomenal. I mean, we've got great numbers. So what we're wanting to do is raise all of these numbers, and we'll kind of get into that here in a second. I mean, we've got a lot of these are the details. You know what I mean? This is the stuff that you have to get into before you can change black and white results. So just moving on. Conversion rate will improve with the updated site. That's another point I want to remind you of. And the updated booking interface. Once our interface doesn't have so many flaws in it, and the website is more straightforward, where like new visitors know exactly where to go, and everything is, we do a lot of hand holding and kind of walk them right into the booking interface and getting them started and ready to go. Conversion rates across the board will go upwards. And if they don't at first, these things fluctuate. I'll get into that in a minute. There's going to be a large fluctuation when we make changes to the website, when we change it in its entirety. But the idea is that we don't stop until we reach something where we're in total control and we're boosting all bottom lines. Um, so it's a continually evolving process. That's the way you have to approach it. It's not, it's not black and white where we can say, okay, we're going to make this change and we're going to change this website entirely. And then it's going to work. That's too easy. We make the changes and then we got to watch all of these numbers. And this is just AdWords. So we've got to watch all of these numbers across the board with all the different marketing channels. So it's a continually evolving thing. Might add blog posts to the current website. You know how our blog posts can show up right in the middle. We'll put it with a big bright picture that mentions the incoming update, because a large portion of our demographic is over the age of 40. So that means, when we change the website entirely, even though the new website will be it'll be a lot more peeled back, a lot simpler, a lot of hand holding. Even though that's our goal, you never know how the demographic's going to respond. For instance, when we started making changes to Facebook, which have obviously boosted numbers in the thousands of %, which is crazy. There's still, a couple people who have mentioned, what happened to the old methodology? Well, it changed. You know what I mean? And so to maybe avoid some of that fluctuation that's probably impending, even though that might seem counterintuitive, because every effort we're making with the new website is to boost the bottom lines. We could have some fluctuation. Like we did with Facebook, we had some fluctuation and some turnover. That could very well happen. And if we prompt our demographic, then we may experience less of that. So that might be something that we do. Not something super imperative, because these changes are happening regardless. So looking at some of these numbers here, we would not have any of these numbers. Our analytics was non-existent. AdWords was basically just a messy drawer crammed full of files and folders and stuff all over the place. And we didn't have any numbers. Now we've got some numbers. We're down to one single dynamic campaign, which is something that's relatively new, becoming the new standard. Dynamic campaign, and it's great. It takes a lot off of our plate. We don't have to plan all the individual ads and everything. But here's the thing. We took a lot of data that we could pull, anything that we could pull, and we applied that towards our old campaigns. We continued to run our old campaigns and gather data off of that, and then we switched to an entirely different type of campaign. We went from regular campaigns to dynamic. So basically what that means is that we have to open this dynamic campaign back up and sort of start from ground zero with the insight that we have now, which is great. So just so I'm not running over time here, 8 minutes, good to go, sweet. So now basically what we're doing is we've collected all this information off of different types of campaigns. And now we've narrowed it down to one single campaign, a dynamic campaign. What we're going to do is we're going to step back. We're going to get off the target CPA bidding strategy. We're going to change the bidding strategy to manual with enhanced CPC. And what that means is we're going to start manually setting our cost per click. And enhanced CPC can move that needle slightly to help push conversions. So that's what that means. And basically what we're doing, again, is we're taking a step back off the dynamic campaign, and we're reapproaching it with more accurate data, because we've compiled more accurate data now. We kind of know what we're doing and where we're at. And because of the nature of the business that we're in, it does fluctuate a lot. But the idea is that moving forward, hopefully we can create some more consistent and therefore predictable results. If we can predict it, we can control it. Okay, so moving on, we'll slowly raise cost per click. That's what that means there, cost per click, how much we're paying per click. We'll slowly raise CPC until consistently over 15 sales per month. So we want to try over month to month, and this is sort of the less of a black and white thing and more deep, Mariana's Trench into the details. What we're trying to do now is month to month have generally higher conversions. So we want to have a higher percent of total is one good number to look at. I think that's something for me. But what we want to do is we want to hopefully month to month see more than 15 sales, and then we can go back, we'll revert back to target CPA, because right now we're doing target CPA based off of data that came from non-dynamic campaigns. So we're kind of mixing things up, things kind of getting, so now we're coming back at it with refinement. Okay, so here's a couple more bullet points and then we're done. So we were spending about $3,000 a month and pretty much getting nothing back for a while. And then, you know, we started to see some results, but still it was at about $3,000 a month. So what we're going to do is we're just going to operate off of a $1,500 monthly budget, and that's spread across 30 days. And they might not spend, you know, a daily budget on Sunday because there's less traffic searching for us on Sundays, but there's more on Monday, so we might spend more on a Monday. We might spend less on a Sunday, but more on a Monday, a little bit less on Tuesday, a lot on Wednesday because we get a lot of traffic, and a little bit, so it kind of, we set it at a monthly limit, and at $1,500 per month, we're really safe. We're really safe because we've been operating off of a $3,000 monthly budget and haven't been able to tap into it very well just because of all the muddled data. Now we're coming back at it in a more organized fashion. I'm wrapping up here. We've moved to accelerated. So what this means is we will spend our budget, and it is possible that we could spend all of our budget, which we want to do. We want to compile that data. We've got the money to spare. We were spending $3,000 a month. Now we've set a maximum of $1,500 a month, which we've only been spending over the last 4 months about $300. So what we're wanting to do, basically what we're doing is we're setting that lower bar to stay safe, so we don't end up, you know, recanting old results, spending $3,000 a month and getting 15 sales. We want to spend maybe $600 and maybe get 18 to 25 sales is where we would like to go. So we're using accelerated, that way we eat more budget. We want to eat more because we've only been eating 300 out of 3,000. Wrapping up here, we're using dynamic enhanced CPC is what we're using now. So basically this means we set a manual CPC of $2. The enhanced portion of that CPC means that it can move, Google can automatically move the needle in small amounts in order to maximize conversions. And we're still using a dynamic campaign because that outperforms consistently and still takes a lot off of our plate. You know, Google gets to run the show from, you know, creating the ad perspective and the keywords perspective. And basically what we'll do is we'll slowly move this $2 where we were spending about $1.50 maximum in the past. We've now set it at $2. Most of our keywords run sometimes about $3.50, our best keywords, and that's a low bid. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to start at this $2. Enhanced can move the needle in small amounts, but we're going to be moving the needle, you know, like 25, 50 cents at a time. So basically that's as brief as I can make this little rundown, and I think that covers everything that I wanted to express. So that's it for my 15 minutes. I'm gonna pop off here and then just keep plugging along. I'll talk to you.